Hi out there, friends. Today we are talking all about two of my favorite things, butt stuff, because you know I love it, and number two, writing. And what we're talking about, the reason I'm marrying these two things is writing is my passion. Writing is my thing. So when I'm talking to my chronic illness and Crohnies audience out there, I want you to insert writing with whatever your thing is with this topic. For me, it's going to be Crohn's has made me a better writer, right? Fill in your own blank. What is that for you? This is in response to a column that came out about 4 years ago. It's been floating around certain Crohn's groups that I'm in for a while, and so I've read it a couple of times. It's by Judy Walters. I'm going to link it in the description box below, but it is essentially that Crohn's has not made me a better person. The thesis of the column, although I encourage everyone to read it, is essentially that with a chronic illness, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. Naturally, this sort of, I don't know, it's never sat well with me, and I'm sure it's just my personality. I have been accused in many forums that I am too cheery and too positive about my health situation, and that most people can't do that, and that I understand. We're all different. We all deal in different ways. For me, I have to stay positive, because if I give an inch to the depression monster, that couch behind me is where I'm gonna be spending the rest of my time, all the time, living on Netflix, all right? And I am about more than that. I have more to do. Am I saying that any of this will work for you? No. But I am telling you that for me, looking for the positive and trying to always look for the ways that the things I cannot change can be turned into a silver lining, that's how I deal. And for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, I did a post this last week that was all about the increased risk for lymphoma and skin cancer for patients that are Crohn's patients that are on azathioprine. Azathioprine is a chemo pill that suppresses the immune system. Depending on how long you are on that pill and what dosage, you are more or less likely to suffer the consequences of those side effects. For me, I've been on the highest dose for about 2 years, and so I was extra cautious because I have had moles removed in the past. I am an early 80s baby, contrary to the lies that I tell on social media. I was actually born in the early 80s, long before sunscreen was a big thing in the Midwest, where I'm from. Moles have been a problem most of my life. I'm fair-skinned, I had auburn hair as a kid before it started going gray and I started coloring it. I have light eyes, fair skin, and I'm male. So I have pretty much all of the things that put me at risk for certain types of skin cancer, except being over the age of 60. The appointment I had recently, went to see a dermatologist, showed her the issues that I was having with my skin, which for those of you that have not suffered Crohn's and been on an immunosuppressant, all kinds of skin problems. So what kinds of things popped up because of my immunosuppressants? Well, I got 2 warts on different parts of my body. Because again, my immune system is 0, so it cannot fight off even the most basic bacterial issues. I have rashes that pop up everywhere, here, down my back, and this rash has persisted. She's given me a cream, it's quickly gone away. But these are some of the things you should talk to your dermatologist about. Because if you are on Remicade or azathioprine and you're seeing rashes on your body, you're seeing blotches on your body, you're seeing warts, you're seeing moles, you're seeing all kinds of things, that's terribly normal, because you do not have an immune system to fight that off, and our skin is our largest organ. So if it isn't strong enough to fight off the small stuff, it can grow into be a big stuff problem. Went to see the dermatologist, she checked out all those other things, burned off the warts, got creams for the rashes. Then we started talking about the moles, and specifically the moles that had changed shape and color. So I had 4 that were removed over different parts of my body, one that was on my face, which is healed up nicely, as well as one that's right underneath my armpit here, and then a couple on my back. All of them likely sun exposure. Of those 4 biopsies, one of them came back a basal cell carcinoma. That is cancer. However, as skin cancers go, it is definitely the best one to get. Why? Because it usually doesn't spread as long as you catch it early. There are lots of treatment options. For me, it's going to look like a simple outpatient procedure where they will excise the skin around the spot that they shaved for that one. And the good news that comes out of this is, I know in my last vlog, I was griping about not being able to get my MRI because of the increases of hospitalizations due to folks that are unvaccinated. The good news is, now that I had a mole that was very near my lymphatic system, being on this medication that puts me at an increased risk for skin cancer and lymphoma, I am getting my MRI that I need to see if I am in remission for the butt stuff, because they need to check my lymph nodes to make sure I don't have any cancer or problem cells there. This will make sure that all of the cancer stuff is good, as well as hopefully give me the remission status that I need to start coming off of these meds that make my skin go cuckoo. So in talking about that, that's what's been going on. That's the stuff that's been happening lately. Talking about the article that I started this talk with, I wanted to just touch on, for me, the article didn't sit well with me. Mostly her thesis is, again, about cancer and how there is a light at the end of that tunnel, that for most, they'll beat it, right? or, the thing she doesn't really talk about in the article is the other option to beating cancer is death. So I'm not quite sure that I agree with the whole, there's a light at the end of the tunnel for cancer, because I could list off several family members that was not the case for. I understand, I think, what she meant, which was that we constantly have things that we have to overcome, and there's a bitterness that comes with that. And I understand that completely. I also understand that my mentality, my look at everything for the silver lining, isn't for everyone, and that some people see it as toxically positive, and maybe it is. What I can tell you is, if I did not stay positive and look for the ways that my illness is a silver lining in my life, I'd be holed up on that couch behind me, eating everything under the sun, never caring whether it was going to make me feel terrible and sick. I would just lay there in a depressive state, living off of Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus. So I don't really think that's super healthy. And instead, when I read the article, I thought to myself, how has Crohn's made me better? And I could say, Crohn's has made me a better husband. Crohn's has made me a better son. Crohn's has made me a better brother. Crohn's has made me a better friend. Crohn's has made me a better writer. And today is all about a writer, because I wanted to stay away from my personal life. I wanted to stay away from the stuff that gets a little icky in these vlogs and talk about something that I talk about publicly, which is my love for writing. It's the passion that I found once I got sick. Does that mean I wasn't writing books before? No, I was. I just never took the time to allow myself to follow my passion. So let's talk about the 3 Ps that I have gained from my experience with Crohn's disease that have made me a better writer. What I want for you to do, as my Crohnies out there, if you're looking for a way to find the positive in your diagnosis, to find the positive in being sick, then try this out. Consider doing this exercise for yourself. In what way, big or small, has Crohn's made you a better blank? Pretty much whatever you can put in the blank for the silver lining from your chronic illness. What is the blank? And tell me in the comments below, how has a chronic illness in your life been a positive? In what way? So for me, it's made me a better writer, and that's the 3 Ps. The first P of the 3 Ps is priorities. It was not until I got sick that I prioritized myself. And that sounds silly to say that, but it is 100% true. It wasn't until I could no longer go at 100 miles an hour that I stopped to recognize that I never put myself first. I rarely put my husband and my family first. I usually put my work life and my career goals first. That was like hustle culture times 1,000 was me. And it really took this disease to knock me on my ass for me to recognize, holy cow, there's a whole lot of life that I'm missing because I don't know how to prioritize anything in my life. The moment I learned to prioritize myself first was the moment that I also learned, what is my passion? What is the thing that I haven't done because I was hustling for a career, because I was hustling for the next thing? And it's pretty simple. For me, it was writing. I had files and files of short stories and books and things that I had written and really never shared with anyone because I had never prioritized myself, my passions, and the things that I wanted to do. Number 1, it taught me to prioritize myself, which allowed me to prioritize my writing, which then allowed me to continue to prioritize that writing and to make that my focus through this really tough flare over the last 2 years. The next P that I want to talk about is patience. For those of you that don't know, if you're suffering from a chronic illness, but most especially Crohn's disease, you're gonna have to learn patience. And why is that, you may ask? Because of the amount of time you will spend in the bathroom, in bed, on a couch, missing out on all the things that you want to do because your body just says, not today, Satan. Crohn's taught me patience. How has that served me well in writing? Well, first of all, I'm going the traditional publishing route, which takes the patience of Job. This is to say, everything is incredibly slow. Nothing moves quickly. But something that I've come to appreciate and really lean into, and not something I had when I was working, going 90 miles an hour towards my hustle culture goals, was to stop, smell the flowers, and be patient. Also, to look around and be grateful for what I already have. Even though I didn't get an agent last spring, and I have no idea if I'll be able to get one on this current project next spring. What I know is that I have the patience to take my time, continue building my platform, setting myself up for success in every way that I possibly can, and focus in and hone in on the priorities in order to continue growing as a writer and continue getting better and leveling up. The last P, and probably the most important, is perseverance. This one is probably the most obvious to most, but having a chronic illness requires perseverance because it never ends. It's always happening, and it's exhausting. and tiring, and it wears you out. So here's the thing about perseverance. Perseverance is necessary in almost any goal or anything you're going to work towards. You're going to need perseverance. The same is true for me as a writer. I have to be able to accept those failures. And again, nothing has prepared me for failure like my angry butt. Perseverance is probably the greatest gift that I got out of this really crappy situation. That does not mean that I do not listen to my body or that when I'm sick, I push and push and push. I actually don't. These three things feed into each other. They help keep me feeling as good as possible, but they also have helped me level up my goal, my passion, my dream, which is becoming a traditionally published author. Again, I'm not dissing Judy Walters, and I completely understand where she is coming from with that column that I, again, have linked to below. Do I wish I didn't have Crohn's? Yeah. Do I wish that this wasn't the way my life had panned out? I mean, sure, there are certain days that I have fleeting thoughts of that. But then I also remember how fortunate I am, and that this is just but one step that has set me back in a lifetime of privilege and opportunities that I've had that most other people can only dream about. So to sit in my own sort of humdrum, woe is me, oh, I have Crohn's and it's just so awful, I can't live that way. Because if I do that, I am basically, in my mind, spitting in the eye of every person who is out there suffering from Crohn's that doesn't have access to the incredible medical team that I have, or the access to doctors, or the access to the medications that are needed to improve my situation. I have to constantly remain in a state of gratitude in order to feel like I am doing justice to the people out there who have not had a tenth of the opportunities that I have had. I think that's the undercurrent of why I reject the Crohn's hasn't made me a better person thing. As for any of you out there, I don't know where you come down on this. I don't know if in your world, Crohn's has made you better or worse, or if your chronic illness has made you stronger, or you feel that it set you back. Whatever you feel is a-okay. It's your journey, it's your experience. How you deal is up to you. I'm just offering you some insight into how I deal and how I stay positive in the face of all kinds of adversity. And for me, it's usually to sit back, be grateful for the things that I do have, sit in that gratitude, and look for ways that the things that are challenges have made me better, stronger, or pushed me closer to something else in my life that I've been working towards. For those of you that are Crohnies that are on azathioprine, I'm going to leave this warning one more time. Please be sure and check your body. You want to look for any odd swelling around any lymph nodes. You also want to be aware of any moles that change shape or color. And be sure and talk to your doctor and your dermatologist about any of the changes with moles on your body. I hope to update you on this crazy butt stuff journey real soon. So I will see you next month when we talk again, and fingers crossed I will have had the MRI by then, and I'll be one step closer to maybe hitting remission by the end of the year? Maybe? Hopefully? I don't know. Leave me a comment below about how you look at your chronic illness and the ways that you try to persevere and keep pushing through and pushing on. I appreciate you. I hope that everyone out there stays healthy and well, and remember, love always wins.